Hi. Sorry that I've been rather long in getting back to you. I owe you an apology for that, but I've been going down a rabbit hole. Computers, aren't they fun? So what happened is I discovered that my webcam was no longer working, and then I found out that the port I was plugging it into wasn't either. And after trying many different things, including bringing in an IT professional, he informed me the two ports that were left on my computer were dead, which I have no idea how that happened. But what I discovered was that it was a Windows update that changed everything. So I learned that there's another method, another way to do this, and I started to use OBS Studio. And so, if this looks a little different today, it's because it is different. But let's get back to the topic. Today's topic. Okay, I wanted to talk about humor. Now, I've mentioned it before, but there's some things that I've discovered that I think could be helpful. Uh, and I think it has a big bearing on you being happy. And I want you to be happy. Okay, so what I discovered about humor happened from the moment I can remember opening my eyes in a family. My dad was a punner, and he had a lot of fun doing that. And we kids, my two brothers and I, spent a lot of time trying to one up my dad with puns. And I never really saw it as maybe a great sense of humor at that time, but it opens the door. And once that door is open, you see things differently. For example, there's always a funny side to everything. I mean, when you're thinking of puns, you're finding another meaning for the same, like a word that you're emphasizing. And that takes somebody who's spending the time to look into it, and that leads to seeing the world differently, like more than one way. So that leads to tolerance. So it all starts with humor. And the way I see it, you can develop humor um, without being offensive. Some people think that humor is making fun of somebody. That's not humor, because if you're being unkind to somebody, you're taking away from the enjoyment that you all are supposed to be experiencing when you use humor. It's meant to be something you spend with or share with one person or more. It's not meant to hurt anybody. But humor is fun because if you're one of those people that's out there in this stressful world and dealing with all the things you have to, you're always going to come across somebody or something that could easily stress you out. So, how you react, and I've mentioned this before about how you react, is so important. And the way I see it, if you can stop yourself from saying anything like for a few seconds and suddenly see the humor in it, what you do end up saying will be so much better for you in the long run and for anybody else receiving it. It allows you that time to put things in perspective and to see the fun side of things. If you can't see the fun side of things, you're not trying hard. There's always something that you can look at and think, oh my God. For example, I started out this video talking about the rabbit hole I went down with my computer. Now, I could have looked at that whole situation and got so frustrated that, I'm cursing and I'm which I don't do. But that sort of thing. And wasting time, getting mad and that sort of thing instead of trying to find a solution. I spent days working on it trying to figure out a solution. But the thing about me is that I know that at the end of anything that happens that maybe is not favorable in my life, there will be a happy ending in the sense that I'll be content with the how it went. So that knowledge alone allows me to use my sense of humor and to know that there will be an end to this thing. It's how I realized that somehow I would figure out this problem with my computer, and and it's probably the universe trying to tell me something, because it's the way it happens in my life. You get an issue, and then when you're trying to address it, you realize what the thing is that you're supposed to be paying attention to. It could be very indirect from what you think because you're thinking, oh, this is a computer issue. No, no. It's coming up in my life in the computer because that's what I'm paying attention to. But there's a message in there somewhere, and I'm supposed to listen. Listen, we all kind of get, really stressed and unhappy with certain things because, well, first of all, you can't always uh, control what goes on around you. And that alone can seem frustrating because you can't put an end to it or you can't change it. But one of the things you learn in life is that you have to sort of ride along with some things, um, and just make the best in terms of your part in it. You can live a much happier life knowing that your part in it doesn't have to be the one that's causing you stress because you're not directly involved, you're indirectly involved. You have a say in how you're going to react and what you're going to say and what you're going to do. You always do. Um, Now, you might not have an impact on everything that happens to you because it seemed like it came out of left field or you didn't realize that sort of thing. But um, those things will happen if you're not paying attention. And those things will happen if you're not one of those people who likes to question your life. Um, Usually things that are negative or not so good that come into your life don't just happen. There's like a series of breadcrumbs the universe provides. So if you're not living in the moment or paying attention, um, this is when things will hit you. So knowing that too should allow you to use your curiosity and your sense of humor, um, to find the answers that work better for you. All through your life, you're being tested. The friends you choose, the kind of career you decide to take, um, the learning and the places where you learn, um, and the things that you allow to take away your emotions, and the kind of friends that you choose that determine a lot of your happiness, that sort of thing. Like there's all kinds of decisions we make all the time. And it doesn't mean we can't change those as we go, because maybe we haven't learned yet that this isn't the best thing for us or we need something else. And this is where humor always plays a part. If you can stand back and look squarely at yourself and be realistic, be honest with yourself, If you like what you see, the way you act, what you say to people, what you do as a friend, the kind of things you contribute or don't, um, the job you have, like the way you approach it. If you're happy with all those things, then you know you're going in the right direction because usually what happens is positive moves bring about more positive moves. And a sense of humor is positive because it helps us to be more honest with ourselves. Like we as humans have a tendency to kind of want perfection, and it's broadcasted all over our media every day that we should take this product or eat that product or do this or do that and we'll be better for it. And of course, none of that is really true. What is better for us is better nutrition, better friends, better mindset, and so forth, all of which we have control. So my suggestion is that you learn to laugh at yourself, to put yourself in perspective, so you know that you're being fair. But the honesty is important, because, as I was said, when you're dealing with the universe, you can't fool the universe. You can pretend, but that's not going to get you anywhere. You have to be sincere. And when things are genuinely funny, that's about as genuine as you get. Like that's where you see the full story. That's where you see that something, um, maybe something you've been doing, sort of verges on the ridiculous or absurd. It's a part of learning. But for yourself, as you go along, you'll find that later in life, too, this humor really comes into play because it helps you to deal with so many things. You know yourself really well by that time. At least I do. And I've learned to like me. I'm not such a bad person. And that's because I try to be fair to people. And that sense of humor keeps popping up. I can see things in almost an animated sense, kind of like a cartoon. And that helps me a lot. So I just want to give that piece of advice because I think it could be valuable for you. And I wish you the best, as always. We're going for happiness here. You have a wonderful day, and please subscribe to my channel. And like I say, I'm sorry I was late. And I hope to keep things more regular in the future. Thank you for watching my channel. And you take care of yourself, okay? And try to smile once in a while. You might even like yourself better. Okay. Bye for now.